All right, we are live. We're recording. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And today, just big overarching picture, the walkthrough of what we go through. Four core pillars of everything that we're doing here. We have marketing, we have the tech stack, we have the actual product itself, and then we have customer experience. And those are the four areas that I see that if we get all those right, we're gonna have a successful subscription business. So our membership business, however you want to word it. So today we've made a full circle and we're back in marketing. And the specific that we're going to focus on this week is going to be Facebook advertising, running Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm not doing this because I think it's the absolute only way that you can run ads, or the absolute only way that you can market is to run ads. There's a lot of strategies that I want to share with you guys over the course of the next year. But it is one that I'm doing right now that I can just show you data and show you real life examples, and one that I'm pretty good at. So I thought if we wanted to start the year off strong, it also tends to be the case that January is the easiest month of the year to run ads. And that's basically just because all of the heavy hitters ran their ads for Q4 and are kind of done. And so they kind of take January off, which gives us an opportunity to get some big wins. And so I thought I could show you guys how I tend to capitalize on that every year. And I can show you how it's already paying off this year. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you one of the ad accounts that I run ads through, that I'm running ads through right now for the 14-day challenge that I'm hoping is going to lead people to this group coaching program. And then we'll talk through how I kind of set up ads and everything that I do. This is the ad account, but it's focused specifically on the ads that I'm currently running. So if I go over to campaigns, I'm only running one ad right now on the campaign level. On the ad set level, I always do a 5-way split test. Whenever I'm in testing phase. And to me, testing phase is loosely once I'm happy with my click-through rate, or if you're doing a higher level strategy and you don't just want clicks, but you actually want to optimize for add to carts, you're going directly to an order form, then testing phase is once you get to a point where you're happy with your cost per add to cart. And then that's pretty much what you can optimize for on Facebook side, and then the rest is going to be the landing page. We're actually going to talk about the landing page next week. So we might be a little out of order because you can't run ads unless you have a landing page, but I will tell you right now that simple landing pages tend to work really well. So if you can optimize for your ads first anyway, that's going to take a week anyway. So next week we'll be right on pace. When I'm in testing phase, I spend a minimum of $25 a day, and I will do that across a 5-way split test. So that's $5 a day in budget per, which is not excessive. Like you could triple that and you would still be not spending very much on ads as far as ads are concerned. But I found that $5 a day across 5 different creatives is what it takes to get statistical significance within a week typically. And this is actually an outlier week because I didn't get statistical significance this week. But generally speaking, that's what I tend to find. But I want to dig into details around how we know that we're winning. So one thing that I want to point out, just looking at the ad set level, is my cost per click on all of these is ridiculously low. These are numbers that most people who run ads on Facebook tell you you can't get it. They tell you you're not going to get a 20-cent cost per click. Well, I get it consistently, and I want to show you guys how I get it consistently because it's a Facebook ad hack that people just don't capitalize on. And it's how I start every single ad campaign that I run on Facebook, whether it's for me or one of my clients. Before I get to that, though, I'm going to tell you how the one thing that I think most people are likely to mess up when they're running a 5-way split test. And then I'm going to kind of cap off the session with, I'll show you how I create the creatives. I'll show you how I do the ad copy. I'll show you the secret that I use to get such low cost per click. And then I'll ask the people who are here live if they actually want me to build an ad live. Because if you've never built a Facebook ad before and you want to, that'll be helpful. But if you have, these high level strategies are more valuable. So it's just going to be dependent on who's here live, what they want. And the first thing that I'm going to do right now, though, is show you how I know whether or not I have a winner. And right now, I don't have a winner. So I want to just emphasize that. So what you might look at, you might see, okay, this one got 65 clicks, and the next most clicks is 50, and the reach is all about the same, the spend is all about the same. So this is our winner, right? No. It is winning, but we don't know that it's going to win. And the reason we don't know that is we don't have what's known as statistical significance. I'm minored in statistics. I'm a math major. I taught statistics. I'm a nerd about this stuff. We don't have statistical significance. If I were to turn my other ads off right now, I would do that not knowing whether or not I was supposed to do that. And what that means long term, if you always rush to the winner, then on a long enough time horizon, you'll find that you're wasting as much as 40% of your ad budget by not picking optimized ads. By not picking the true winner, you're wasting a ton of money over time. In the short term, it's not that big of a deal because this one's probably going to win. But until we have statistical significance, we don't know that it's winning. So what I do, so a couple of years ago, I tried really hard to make my own split test calculator so that I didn't have to do this by hand every time because I didn't like any of the ones that were online. And the wall that I ran into was I could do the math and the programmers that I had access to could write the code, but I couldn't understand the code and they didn't understand the math. And we were not able to get on the same page and get our calculator working, which was disappointing. But what I found is the only split test calculator on the internet that I can actually validate works properly. And maybe there's more now, but it's the only one that I know of, is from SurveyMonkey. And if you just Google split test calculator and go to SurveyMonkeys, their split test calculator works. The frustrating thing about it is that it only allows you to do a two-way split test at a time. So what I literally do on this is I take the numbers from, I typically go with reach, not impressions, but you can do either. But I take the numbers from these two rows and I cross-reference all five. So ad one versus ad two. I typically go with reach because in my own mind, I care about reach more. Impressions is fine. So what we see here is we have a statistically significant result that ad one beats ad two with 90% confidence. We are technically doing something that is known as a social science. What you're doing dictates how high your confidence score should be. If we were doing like medical testing and we wanted to make sure that our drugs weren't going to kill people, we would be 99% confidence, which I don't have here. But when you're dealing with social sciences, they actually are confident to move forward off of an 80% confidence. So if we hit 90% confidence, which is the lowest this calculator goes, we can be confident that that's a winner. So what I tend to do, I'll kind of map this out on just a spreadsheet really quick. I usually do it by hand just because it's how my brain works better. But I will do 1v2, enter, 1v3, enter, 1v4, enter, 1v5, enter, and is I will just map out a list of all of the comparisons. And so on, right? 3, 4. And then I'll just mark who the winner was. And I tend to track it because I'm curious, but I tend to track the confidence level. Confidence level doesn't actually matter because 90% is sufficient for social sciences. Significant result that 2 wins. So I would say, okay, 2 wins. And then I would go through all of these. And I did this morning, which is how I know that I don't have any like full-fledged winner yet. But what I would look for is if 2 beats every other one, right? If 2 is winning against everything else, then I know 2 is my winner right now. But that doesn't mean that I should just turn off all the other ones, especially since increasing my ad spend on 2 from $5 a day to $25 a day is enough to hurt its results. What I'll do instead is I will kind of tier list everything. Okay, so 1 doesn't win against 2, but if 1 wins against everything else, then 1's kind of my second place winner. And If 5 loses to everything, then 5 is the one that I'm going to kick. And I'm going to send the ad spend from 5 to 2. And I'm going to let the other ones run for a couple more days. And I'll just start picking them off. And that way I can get all the ad spend to my winner without it seeing ad like the damage that you get from increasing your ad spend too quickly. The other one to keep in mind too is I am always running at split tests. So if I'm going to be transferring my budget to the winner, I'm not going to do that with the full budget, but I will give it more budget than everything else because it's proven that it's worth it. So what I might do after 4 loses, let's say 4 loses next, is instead of transferring that ad spend, I might put in another creative at $5 a day. And I'm always trying to win. And eventually my process kind of gets me from a 5-way split test at the beginning of the testing phase to a 2-way split test, usually within like a month to 6 weeks. And that way I know the winner. And once I have a winner, then I'll be spending $20 a day on the winner. Twos gets $20 a day. And my other one that I've tested a whole bunch of things gets $10 a day. And that's kind of what I'm sitting at. Then every 3 or 4 days, I increase the ad spend by like 20%. And that's what I've found tends to allow you to scale as much as possible without hurting it. And it's weird that when you start with such a low budget of $25 across all ads, that you actually still need to scale up slowly. Like if you started with $100 per day on each of those 5 ads, then scaling up 20% of the time would make a lot of sense to a lot of people. But they're like, $25 a day. Well, you can just increase that because it's not a lot of ad spend. For whatever reason, Facebook seems to care or affect you more based on percentage than it does based on raw value. So increasing from $25 a day to $100 a day tells Facebook you got money to blow, and you'll see your click-through rate go down versus a 20% increase every 3 or 4 days. High level how I work through split tests. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the copy next. So this is the ad that I was running, by the way. Oh, I guess one more important thing about split tests. When I'm running a split test, I am doing a 5-way split test attacking one creative, or 1 point. So these are all going to the same exact audience. These all have the same exact copy. And the difference in this case that I'm doing is the image. And so 2 of these are video ads and 3 of them are image ads. And so I've changed the image. I'm changing the creative, is what that's known as in advertising. What I've found to be the absolute biggest win once you have your targeting down is creative. So my order of operations is targeting, then creative, then copy. And I never split test targeting because of the hack I use for targeting that I'm going to show you in a minute. It's why I get such low cost per click. So I'm almost always just targeting creative, or yeah, I'm almost always just targeting the creative. I typically get my cost per click where I want it without ever touching the copy, which means I don't put a ton of effort into copy on ads, crazy as that sounds. But what I did for these ads, this is the ad, by the way, is the video, and here's the copy. So I'll read you the copy and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Ready to launch your business in 2024? Most entrepreneurs are starting out with limited time, money, and skills. But that doesn't mean it's hopeless. Let's talk options. Option number 1, start an agency of any kind and charge $1,500 a month per client. Land 3 clients, that's $4,500 a month. Sounds good, right? But what if you lose 1? Stability matters, and so does our time. Option 2, offer a streamlined service that's completely productized and charge $300 per client. Manage 15 clients, $4,500 a month, less risk, but more clients to juggle. Option 3, our recommendation. Go low ticket, $20 a month for a subscription business. This is how I broke out of my day job just a few years ago. I launched a membership charging $19.96 per month and got 214 paying members in just a few months. That's $4,271 per month. And the best part, it only took 4 hours a week to do everything. Why I love subscription businesses. Same income, less time. Minimal impact if you lose a member. You lose the one subscriber, you don't even notice, right? Sustainable growth, even with limited resources. That's why my team and I put together the 14-day Your Subscription Launch Challenge to help other entrepreneurs just like you follow in my footsteps and build a stable business, even if they have limited resources. And the best part, the challenge is 100% free. Sign up and start your subscription launch challenge today. Here's the link. Then you can click to learn more. That copy is running on all 5 of these, and the only thing that's changing is the creative, whether it's a video or an image. So what I did for this copy and what I tend to do for copy is relatively similar. And I leverage ChatGPT, and I leverage my videos, and I leverage copywriting frameworks. So the one thing that I would say that I almost always add to the copy, no matter what it is the first sentence. I always have a yes question as the first sentence. That's like the copywriting trick that I've learned that works well over and over and over again. And I think I actually technically learned it from Ryan Levesque. Ryan Levesque said at some point, he wrote the book Ask. Ryan Levesque said at one point, if you're struggling for a headline, the easy out that always works is to just ask a question. So yes questions are questions that you know for a fact your target audience is going to say yes to. When I first saw success with this, it was actually with the membership that I'm referencing in here. And I gave away a free cross necklace when people signed up for a trial of the membership. There it is. I gave away a free cross necklace when people signed up for a trial of the membership. And the ad that I ran was this picture, a picture of this image. And it started with a yes question. Love Jesus. Get this cross necklace today for free. Just cover shipping and handling. Learn more. That was literally the entire copy. But I always start with a yes question. And then I'll follow a copywriting framework. In this case, I had a video that I made first. And what I did was I got the transcription of the video and I gave it to ChatGPT. And I said, if I give you a script from a video, can you write complimentary copy to go on the Facebook ad? It did that. I critiqued it a little bit. You got to go back and forth with ChatGPT to get something that's workable. And then it gave me this. I never use the hashtags it gives me. I remove a lot of the issue with ChatGPT is that everything it writes looks like it was written by ChatGPT. So you need to edit it. You need to modify it. And so I don't do this as my end all be all. I do it as my starting place. All right. So this started, gave me something to work with. What I typically do is I'll tell ChatGPT, follow a copywriting framework. And I'll pick one. I'll say, follow the AIDA method. Follow the SSSS method. Like just a pre-existent known copywriting framework because ChatGPT knows them. What is the AIDA copywriting method or framework? Attention, interest, desire, action. Can you rewrite this ad following that? And so that you'll see it starts working it out. Edit that. Again, the biggest thing that I found for the copy itself is starting with the yes question makes a huge difference. And I found the creative matters a whole lot more. And I don't really understand video ads yet. I'll be just transparent on that. I've ran image ads for, I don't know, a decade. But I've only ran like a handful of video ads ever. So I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about how video ads perform, but I'll tell you this, or how to do video ads, but I'll tell you this. I added the text on this one, assuming that that would help it do better. And what I'm seeing right now is that the video ad version without text is doing much better than the video ad version with text. Kind of surprised me. But the other one is, I think my winner is going to end up being the video ad. And that's what I found so far is even though I don't really know how to do video ads, my video ads tend to outperform my image ads, which isn't surprising to me. It's just like I don't know enough to give you a huge amount of insight on how to do a good video ad, except what I would say is always try it. Right now, like always try it. Shoot a video and give it a shot. Otherwise, we'll go to images, creative. And when I do creatives, I kind of fit into only a couple real thought processes. I like to test very simple things. So I will test the text that's in the image, or I will test the color of the background. I will test something very simple. So this one is a near replica of this one. And the only thing that's different about these two ads, because to get a proper split test, you want as few things to be different as possible. The only thing that's different about these two ads, the copy is exactly the same, is what the image says, right? You can see same image, different text. Launch your subscription business in just 14 days for free versus master the art of subscription businesses for free. That's the two, testing it. So what I tend to do is something that simple, or what I do a lot of times for when I'm have a client that's a large brand, is I will do large brands tend to care more about what their brand looks like than they do about how well the ads perform, which I don't really understand. Is I will pick a design template, one that I think will be Facebook ad compliant. And what I mean by think is that if you have too much text, Facebook will likely flag it. So you want a little bit of text, not a ton of text. And then something also I'm looking for is, does the image actually look like it would pop? So one thing that I might do if I was like using this and if this was ready to go, I would either test simply changing that background image there and seeing what catches. Obviously, it can't just be random the way that I'm showing it quickly right now. It would have to be somewhat related. But like, it's business coaching. This could be one versus this one. And the other thing that I'll do is just test those background colors. What does that do if it's gray instead? And what I find is that often doing little tweaks like that actually gives you a easy way to test that actually gives you statistical significance relatively quickly. And I usually do exactly how I'll go back here and I'll show you this. I usually do where like I have a couple running that are that level of change, very, very small change. And then I have, right, so I have two running that are basically the same image, right? Just different text. Then I have two running that are basically the same video. One has text, one doesn't. And then I have one running that's just different. And the reason I do that is this guy is here to test the unknown. I always have one that's like kind of just testing the unknown. The other ones are there because I'm going to optimize what's going to convert highest through this. But if I have these two running that look basically the same, then I have this one running and the other video that's basically the same, and then this guy outperforms them all, then I'm really glad that I tried something that I didn't think was going to work. And spending $5 a day for that possibility, in my experience, tends to be worth it. So let me go ahead and wrap up with the last promise that I made you guys, which was simply that I was going to show you a secret hack that I use that is how I get such low cost per clicks in the first place that I then optimize. So I'll show you it right here inside this ad that I'm currently running. Audience, custom audience, customer lists, and then lookalike audiences. So I have two lists that I'm running these ads. They're both, I think the women's business owners is 50,000, but they're thousands, 250,000 small business owners. I get those lists off of something like Data Axle is one option for you. Data Axle is the most expensive, easiest, fastest way to get a good list. And you can literally just tell them, this is the target audience that I have. It's in this country. It's these people. And then the other way that I do it a lot is I'll use Apollo. So Apollo.io is, well, I'll just log in. It's a way that you can source lists yourself. It's the manual brunt force way of doing it. But you can tell them exactly who you're looking for, what their job titles are, number of employees in the company. You can get really specific about who your target audience is. And that's why instead of finding a target audience for my offer, what I do is I find an offer for my target audience. And so 250,000 small business owners, I ran ads last like October, and I told you guys about this, to figure out what my offer should be. And I ran them to this audience. And this audience told me what they were interested in. And then I made the offer. I actually built it out. And now I'm running ads to the same exact audience. And I'm optimizing for that audience. And it's by giving, Facebook doesn't charge very much to advertise to a list you give it because that's your audience as far as Facebook is concerned. So spending the couple hundred or $1,000 it takes to get the list up front saves an insane amount of money when it comes to Facebook ads. And it doesn't affect your scale because lookalike audience exists. So I won't run ads on Facebook without a list because it saves such a ridiculous amount of money and time that it's silly not to do it. Which is why I can still get 30 cent, 50 cent cost per clicks on Facebook in 2024.